Hello, LEGO fans. Bricks Unbound here with another Building Hogwarts update. And you may notice a few differences just from this angle. Primarily that the top sections of, well, the vast majority really, of the Grand Staircase Tower there have been taken off. And that's actually for a couple of reasons. And it's mainly because I've started working on some stuff, well, continued working on some stuff back in that area of the castle. I needed that tower to be able to easily be moved if needed, which meant I needed to remove the top sections. And then also it was blocking a bunch of light from that back corner where I have been working lately. Before we go back there, though, I have been doing some work around the corners of the quad. Stuff isn't perfectly lined up right now, but I have filled in like that back corner over there. The back side of it is not quite done yet, but it already looks a little bit better to have a continuous corner there instead of it having a big gap like this other side does. Haven't done a whole lot there yet. And then similarly, this has been expanded forward a little bit over here. So making a little bit of progress around here. The tricky part, of course, is the roofs for the towers, which I have a couple ideas of how I'm going to do that I need to try out. And ideally also update how these roofs over here are done if my ideas end up working out well for the peaked roofs here around the quad. But let's move around to this side here. So quite a bit of work has actually been happening over here. For one thing, this tower, I think only went up, it might have been up to here in the last update, but I have added on these next two sections up. No interior details yet. We'll take a closer look though here in just a minute. And a lot of the time and work and parts went into this section here. So now Severus Snape is not stuck standing in that hallway back there anymore, or that walkway. Now he can continue a little bit further down this path here. So lots of rock work in place here that just was not before. It was just an opening with the final challenge of the Sorcerer's Stone back behind it. And that is actually still accessible. This is all one big piece that I can just slide out. And there, we can still see it back behind. Pretty easy to get it to come out here. I might have to adjust the height a little bit on the supports underneath, just because this is going to, of course, be covered in plates and then tiles over that. So it needs to be 2 tiles worth of height high here instead of just 1. Although I could just lift it up, I suppose. But the structure underneath here is very empty because I'm trying to keep it from being heavy and unwieldy to pull out of there. So there you go. Lots of open space underneath, which is one of the advantages of using the big, ugly rock pieces. I see some things have started to pull themselves apart here. There we go. It's a little bit better. But yeah, so I have a lot of these corner big ugly rock pieces built in here, but there's quite a bit of brick added over it to make it maybe slightly less apparent. I, of course, am planning on doing more details over it eventually. But that does just cover up the Sorcerer's Stone task or challenge back there. And is quite simple, really, to slide back into place, especially if I was using both hands for it. But there we go. So the idea, obviously, is that this path up here will come out a little bit this way, continue around. It'll fairly slowly go down as it circles around here, and then we'll gain height back up to get up to even with the walkway over there to access that door that gets you into the entrance hall and the Great Hall from there. And as it comes down here, I'm thinking another path will branch out to get you closer down to the actual water's edge here. These are roughly where I'm thinking it'll be, although this side does for sure have to come forward a little bit because right now it is very much underneath the Great Hall there, a bit more than I wanted. But as I mentioned before, I needed to remove the top levels of this so that I could move things around underneath it, because I want to continue all of this under here, which means like these supports here are going to be replaced with other pieces. I'm thinking maybe the easiest way to keep this good and supported is actually for this section of the tower wall, I just keep building it down with these alternating round cylinders and bricks. Then it can just support itself if that just goes all the way down to the table, basically. And then I just shape the path around it. I think that might end up being the best way to do it, since there's just a lot of weight coming down through the tower, especially once everything is up on top of it. And then this tower over here, like I said, has gained some height. So I need to figure out exactly how I want to do the roof on it. Similar to these windows here, is just a rough approximation of where it looked like they were in the model. They're not completed necessarily by any means, but I needed that there, so I remembered to try and fit roofing sections down around it. Because the other challenge is that this section of roof that goes sideways here is going to, in some way, have to interact with the section that's coming down around this tower. So I need to figure out exactly how that's going to work. I think this will be one of the more challenging ones, corner towers here, along with the one over there, just because of how those roofs interact. The Gryffindor tower, which will be in that corner there, it goes up a bit higher, if I remember right from the pictures, so there won't be quite as much interaction between the roof of the tower and the roof of the side of the quad here. So still working on that, but to get to this corner here, you can kind of see what I did there. So those are using a bunch of inverted slopes, like the corner 2x2 versions, that just steadily work their way out. That way I didn't have to have a random support sitting in the middle here. So it looks a little bit better, and it's plenty sturdy for now, and it'll be more sturdy once I figure out how to blend all of this side in. But that's really it for this video. Just about dropped my camera there. So no interior details here yet. I do want to probably add some like spiraling staircases built into the wall here that would get you up to other floors, which is why there's doorways in each of these floors here. But that's a challenge for another day. I really want to get these roofs started to figure out, which might be the next video, or something else strikes my fancy and I'm inspired. I might work on something else. But that does it for this video. Thank you for watching, and please keep coming back for more.